Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to July 27th session of special session of FAR. I turned off my video to save data. Please let me know if you can hear me and see my shared screen. Ginagalaw ko siya ngayon, yung screen. And is my audio okay? I turned off my video because since yesterday, nung nawalan tayo ng internet, hindi pa bumalik yung internet namin. So, I'm using data lang. I hope it will work, pero itatawid natin tong online session today. Okay lang? Yes daw. Okay. Please let me know kung medyo napuputol or nadi-disrupt. Again, I'm using data lang kasi walang internet simula kahapon na. So, itatawid ho natin ang naiwang questions for today. As you can see, sa mga hindi nakapasok kahapon, this is our agenda. Our agenda is to finish the remaining questions, but only questions 26 to 40, because the rest, 41 to 50, will be your attendance and participation. If you can check, I also checked my CFAS Canvas. Nakita ko marami nang gumawa in advance ng assignment ho natin. No? So, this handout, you have a copy of this in the Telegram and in the Canvas. Nevertheless, tomorrow, Monday, July 28th, I'll be giving the complete, kung may pasok na kami. Kung makabalik na kami sa school tomorrow, I'll be giving the rest or the complete handout with all the questions, na, as mentioned kahapon. Anyway, without further ado, good morning. We are in questions 26 to 40. Natapos natin 1 to 25 kahapon with varieties of shareholders' equity transactions. And now we are continuing more related to shareholders' equity transactions. No? So napakarami ng transactions or possible items dyan. I hope we can review those transactions and will help you remember and master shareholders' equity. Nevertheless, andito ho tayo, tama ba? Uh, Number 26 onwards ang agenda ho natin. So, in number 26, there's another transaction related. I think it's talking about book value. What do we know so far about book value per share computation? Practically, we can compute both the classes of shares, map ordinary or preference, as to book value related. And of course, book value is the total peso amount of the said class of shares divided by issued and outstanding shares. So, in number 26, yun ata yung basic na tinatanong. We have Nikos Company, may cash dividends daw, 210,000, net income, 620,000, and ordinary shareholders' equity, 2 million pesos, and 200,000 ordinary shares outstanding. The question is book value per share. So the formula, of course, the peso amount as mentioned of the said class of share divided by the issued and outstanding shares. Dito kasi is 200,000 shares, no? That's why we arrive with the answer 10 pesos per share kung we talk about the preference. May dalawang important formula din kasi sa shareholders equity. Later, we're gonna talk about earnings per share and which is part of your assignment as well. So, no, I hope you recalled in 26, letter A is the answer, 10 pesos per share. Pag ang tinatanong ay book value per share, you just get the total peso amount balance of the said class of share capital divided by the issued and the outstanding shares. Kapon nakita na rin natin paano mag-compute ng issued and outstanding shares in case it's not given, di ba? The total shares itself, issued and subscribed minus the treasury kung merong mga treasury shares or canceled shares. So number 26 is letter A, 10 pesos per share. Book value per share ang tinatanong. Number 27. This time, Nico's company paid preference dividends of 210,000 pesos and reported net income of 620,000 pesos. Its average ordinary shareholders' equity is 2 million pesos. And Kaya kanina may 200,000 shares outstanding. The question, what is the rate of return on ordinary shareholders' equity approximately? So another possible formula, financial ratio that can arise from the shareholders' equity items, no? Rate of return daw ang tinatanong. In computing rate of return, we need the numerator as the available amount related to net income related to ordinary shares. The available net income to ordinary shares divided by the issued and outstanding shares. Kaya if you can check the solution, nagtatanong ng rate of return sa ordinary shareholders equity, numerator kung ano yung available na net income para sa ordinary shares. So we have here 620,000 pesos net income. May binayarang preference, so ibabawas natin yon 210,000 pesos. So the numerator is 410,000 pesos available to the ordinary shares divided by the 200,000 ordinary shares. Times 100, of course, percentage pag mga rates, rate of return na usapan, we have letter B, 21%. No? The rate of return signifies the in the investment side of the shareholders if the higher rate of return would be beneficial to the ordinary shareholders or owners, diba? So the higher the rate, the better for the said ordinary shareholders, investment wise or purposes. Next, more financial ratios. No? We have here questions 28 to 29, and the following information was provided to us for financial statements year 2010 and year 2011. We can see here cash dividends declaration for the year 8,000 pesos, net income 93,000 pesos, and some market prices, and ordinary and preference shares outstanding. First question, number 28. What is the payout ratio for Lane Corporation for the year ended 2011? So this is like the dividend payout ratio, diba? So if you can see the numerator from the term itself, dividend payout ratio, numerator is the dividends. Denominator is the available share available net income or earnings for the related shareholders. So as you can see, we are sa payout ratio, we are computing for the ordinary shares, for the ordinary shares shareholders. That's why, as you can see, the numerator is the total cash dividends. Dividend, of course, that's a dividend, divided by the net income available to the ordinary shareholders. Because the total net income given is 93,000 pesos. The 15,000 pesos came from the preference dividends. So, ibabawas ulit natin. Ang kinokomputan daw natin ng dividend payout ratio is for the ordinary shares. Kaya, the denominator is represented by the net income available to the ordinary shares. No? Times 100 sa dulo to get the percentage of 10.3%, letter C. Dividend payout ratio. How about for 29, number 29? And book value per share ulit yung tinatanong. What is the book value per share for the Lane Corporation for the year ended 2011? So if we can check the amounts, the for the book value per share, sabi niya, syempre ordinary, 2011 kasi eh. So we get the 2011 balance. Here, it is 1.8 million eh. December 31, 2011. And yeah, the outstanding shares is 150,000 ordinary shares. We will use that as a basis. Kaya 1.8 million divided by 150,000 ordinary shares. We will arrive with book value per share na 12 pesos per share, which is letter A, no, in number 29. For the book value per share naman, since ang item is related to book value or the equity balance, it doesn't provide the output or performance related to the ordinary shares. No? Ang gustong malaman naman siya ng shareholders sa equity uh, owners or investors ay yung amount na invested for the said shares, no? The amount invested. So the higher book value would means the higher rate or percentage for them to receive whatever earnings they will have or receive from the said corporation. So the higher book value, of course, would be a better uh, outstanding amount or balance for the said investor or owners. So yun interpretation ng, ng book value per share. No? So dito, number 29, the answer is letter A, 12 pesos. Okay. So far, we encountered the payout ratio or the dividend payout ratio, return rate of return, and of course, the book value per share a while ago. Next, ito, number 30, we have a algebraic formula to derived for the said missing information. Tingnan natin ano nangyari for number 30. Mace Incorporated had net income for 2010 of 2,120,000 pesos and earnings per share na on ordinary shares of 5 pesos. Included in the net income was 300,000 of bond interest expense related to long-term debt. The income tax rate for 2010 was 30%. Dividends on preference shares were 400,000 pesos. The payout ratio, okay, given na 25%. So question, what were the dividends on ordinary shares in 2010? Mukhang we need to work back the said item. As you can see in this formula, dito sa naka-highlight, ang meron is the formula for the dividend payout ratio. Ano nga ba yung formula ng dividend payout ratio? Is the total dividends divided by net income available to the ordinary shares. Yung nawawala yung numerator, which is X. So let X be the dividends, no? The dividends, the numerator. And then, if you can see, ang lalabas na sagot dapat 25%. Denominator is the net income. We have 2,120,000 pesos here minus the distributed to the preference na 400,000. So, if that is 2,120 minus 400, magkano kaya yun sa denominator? And then we're just gonna work back the uh, x, diba? So, ang denominator dito, we're working back, we're looking for dividends, the numerator, no? So, ito, denominator, that is like 1,720,000 pesos. So, ano ba yung sa algebra pag x yung nawawala, nasa pagdi-divide ang nawawala. Siyempre, ang hypothetically, 0.25 over 1, di ba? Then cross-multiply. Cross-multiplication, remember? Sa basic math or high school algebra. So, pag nag-cross-multiply yan, 1,720,000 times 0.25, then the imaginary 1 sa baba ng 0.25 times x. Therefore, x is equal to 430,000 pesos. Cross multiplication, di ba? Na usapan. So, 430,000 pesos, that is letter A, no? Ang tinatanong ay dividends. The total dividends amount. So, again, work back tayo to get the said dividend amount. And by working back with the algebraic equation, yeah, nag-cross multiply x times 1.25 times 1,720 to 120 minus 400. Ayan, lalabas 430,000 pesos. Letter A. Okay. Next, so another exercise. This time, questions 31 and 32. Tignan na agad natin yung hinahanap. It's dividend payout ratio again. So, if we can check the available items or information, the again dividend payout ratio, total dividends divided by the net income available to ordinary shares times 100, lalabas yung percentage. So as you can see, we get ano bang year yan? 2011. For 2011, there's net the dividends, the cash dividends, ang meron 15,000 pesos numerator divided by the dividends or net income available to the ordinary shares. We have a total net income of 124,000. Tapos na-distribute na natin yung share ng preference na 30,000. Kaya for the denominator, we only have 94,000 pesos. So if you can check, 15,000 pesos divided by 94,000 pesos times 100, we will get the payout ratio of 16%. No? So far, sa shareholders' equity, when it comes to this percentage or ratio, ang kinukumputan natin na class of shares is the ordinary shares. No? Sila yung mga kailangan makaalam nun. Kasi sa it's somehow irrelevant information to preference shares kasi in the first place, preference na sila, preferred na sila. Sila na yung nauna when it comes to receiving the dividends or share of earnings, di ba? Kaya, syempre, kung dalawang classes of shares yun, pangalawa lang si ordinary, mas gusto nilang malaman yung mga financial ratios na yan. But nevertheless, of course, you have MAS, um, all of the said classes of shares, we can compute that as well. Pero mas relevant information na usapan ang mga ganitong ratios para sa ordinary shares. Anyway, we are talking about dividend payout ratio. Tandaan nyo na lang, the total dividends numerator divided by the net income available to the ordinary shares. Pag walang sinabi, na ordinary shares ang kinokomputan natin. 31 is boy. Next, book value. How about the number 32? Ang question is book value per share, no? Siyempre, maghanap tayo ng total peso amount related to ordinary shares and yung outstanding shares nila. The question is year 2011, so 2.4 million pesos divided by 120,000 ordinary shares. Lalabas yung book value per share. Ano? 120,000 pesos. Kahapon, if you remember, we encountered the preference shares na cumulative, non-cumulative, participating, and non-participating. So somehow that would impact the dividend payout ratio maybe, or yeah, the dividend payout ratio and related to ordinary shares. So medyo pag book value per share, no, saka payout ratio, alam na natin kung ano yung available. Year-end, 2011. Dito kasi 2011 divided by outstanding ordinary shares, 120,000 shares. So, 20 pesos, that is letter B. Next, and let's encounter new problems. The following information will be used for numbers 20, questions 33 until 35. Tignan natin anong nangyari dito. We have written incorporated has outstanding 300,000 shares of 2 peso par ordinary shares and 60,000 shares of no par 8% preference shares with a stated value of 5 pesos. Na-encounter na rin natin yan kahapon, no? Pag walang par value, no par value statement. Of course, in the corporation law, it's not allowed. It's really not allowed, diba? But uh, accounting wise, somehow there are corporations that declares no par, but there is a stated value, of course. So stated value is the next in line na basis of the said measurement. The preference shares are cumulative. So cumulative and non-participating daw. Dividends have been paid in every year except the past 2 years and the current year. Questions number 33. Assuming that 150,000 pesos will be distributed as a dividend in the current year, ano daw ang para sa ordinary shareholders? Okay, so we encountered this a bit like before, no? Uh, Dividends. So magkano ba ang dividends na available or para sa ordinary shares, di ba? Siyempre, preference, titignan natin kung anong characteristic meron yung preference. Dito, 8% preference shares tapos 5 pesos. So, cumulative din siya and non-participating. We already discussed this one yesterday. Pag cumulative, basta walang na-declare, the dividends in arrears will be paid in the current year, di ba? So, 60,000 preference shares times 5 pesos stated value times 8%. Yan yung nakukuha nila na typical, di ba? Times 8%. So, that is like 24,000 pesos yearly. Sabi niya, dividends have been paid in every year except the past 2 years plus the current year or the 3 years, no? That's why in the solution, may 3 times 3 years. So 24,000 times 3 years, they received 72,000 pesos preference, no? Preference shareholders, they receive a total amount of 72,000. Eh, ang dividends na in number 33 na na-declare ay 150,000. So 150,000 minus the 72,000 from preference shares, meron pang letter B, 78,000 pesos para sa ordinary shares. Okay? So, preference shares, cumulative daw kasi siya. Next, assuming naman daw that in number 34, we have uh, 63,000 pesos dividends to be distributed. The question is how much will the preference shareholders receive? Okay. Actually, when we computed, di ba kanina, in 3 years, ang hindi pa nabayaran ay 72,000 pesos. Ito yung kanina, di ba? Computed as the 60,000 preference shares times 8% times stated value of 5 pesos. Times 3 years, 72,000 ang tatanggap nila. Eh, ang dineclare ay 63,000. Therefore, lahat sa kanila. Di ba? Yan ang analysis doon. 72,000 pesos in total. The current year's dividends tsaka the dividends in arrears. So, kung 63,000 lang ang dineclare this year, sa kanila lahat yun, no? Eh, ang tinatanong, preference shares. So, letter D, 63,000 pesos. Sa kanila lahat, malamang pag ordinary shares yung tinatanong dyan, they receive zero amount for the said year. Okay? Next, how about number 35? Ito na, yung si participating. Yesterday, I believe we wasn't able to encounter mga participating na usapan. So, this time, 35, assuming that 183,000 pesos will be distributed and the preference shares are this time participating. How much will the ordinary shareholders receive from 183,000 pesos? And remember the participating preference shares. Ano ibig sabihin pag participating? Ang ibig sabihin ng participating, malamang, di ba kasi if we can check the information, the preference shares 8% sabi niya. Meaning, ang unang 8% ay sa kanila. Pag non-participating, whatever the balance is for the ordinary shareholders, what the ordinary shareholders can receive. Pero dahil participating yan, ano mong balanse, after mabigyan ng 8% yung mga preference shares, magkikihati ulit sila. Di ba? Yan ang concept ng participating. So, wait, I'm gonna double screen number 35 for us to see both 100 per 34. Ayan, para makita natin pareho yung question and the solution. Ang tinatanong na this time, number 35, ayan, which is participating na daw. And 183,000 pesos will be distributed as dividends. Ang question ay magkano to yun para kay ordinary shareholders, okay? Ang information natin, we have ordinary shares, 300,000 share times 2 pesos. We will arrive with the peso amount of 600,000 pesos, no? Pag participating yan, syempre, sa preference, siya ang unang mabibigyan. Kaya in the solution, no? The total amount, the answer is 90,000 pesos, letter B. Paano nakuha? Para sa ordinary shares yan. Una, syempre pag participating, si ordinary shares together, meron din siyang matatanggap na first 8%. Ganun yan, di ba? Pag participating si preference, sabay silang mabibigyan, kumbaga, ng 8% din. Tapos, anumang balanse ay uh, paghahatian ulit nila. So, the 600,000 pesos came from the total outstanding ordinary shares peso amount times 8% kasi yun naman yung galing sa preference na percentage. Yun ang unang ginagamit, di ba? Pag participating. And then, paano na ko yung 7% as the next in line na rate? Siyempre, dahil participating, kailangan natin maghanap ng balanse. First, kasi yung sa preference, ang initial na natanggap nila in total is 72,000 pesos. Kanina na-compute na natin yan from the previous number or items. So, 72,000 pesos. And then, yung first din na natanggap ng ordinary. So, 600,000 times 8%. Ganun kasi pag participating eh. Sabay silang mabibigyan at anumang balance eh, paghatian pa ulit nila. Diba? So, initially, ang unang nabigyan in total is 120,000 pesos. The breakdown, syempre yung unang 72,000 pesos for the preference, yung typical, and yung unang ibibigay kay ordinary, no? We will arrive with 120,000 pesos dividends distributed. Yung total na na-declare is 183,000, di ba? 183,000 pesos will be distributed. 120 na distribute na natin. Therefore, may paghatian pa silang balance between 183K minus 120K, which is 63,000 pesos. No? Divided by the total peso amount of ordinary and preference shares, which is 900,000 pesos. Makakakuha tayo ng percentage ng balance na paghatian pa nila, which is kasama si ordinary shares. That's why 7% is used as the second rate in line for the remaining balance ng dividends to be distributed. So, paano na ko yung 7%? Ayun nga, the total dividends declared to be distributed 183K. Tapos 120K na kasi ay na-distribute, no? Dahil participating yung preference. Divided by the total share capital, preference plus ordinary times 100 percentage, 7% ay paghahatian pa nila na balanse. Therefore, the 600,000 ordinary shares times 7% lalabas, meron pa ulit siyang 42,000 pesos. No? So from kanina na initial na 48,000 pesos plus 42,000 pesos, in total, letter B, 90,000 pesos will be distributed for the ordinary shares out of the 183,000 pesos. Ganun siya. 183,000. So, letter B yun, ordinary shares, 90,000 pesos. Okay? I believe this is the first question na may participating na usapan. Participating preference shares. Okay? So far, so good, guys. Are you okay? Okay, next. Balik na tayo sa main screen. Number 36. 36. Yoder Incorporated has 50,000 shares of 10 peso par value ordinary shares and 25,000 shares of 10 peso par value 6% cumulative and participating preference shares. Dividends on the preference shares are 1 year in arrears. Assuming the holder wishes to distribute the 135,000 as dividends, the ordinary shareholders will receive how much? Di ba? Parang magagamit na natin yung number 35 kanina na pagsagot natin dun sa question na magkano ang matatanggap ni ordinary shares whereas we have here participating preference. So if you can take a look with the solution. Yeah. So, parang kanina rin, pag participating, syempre, 6% is the basis. Yung first round ng dividends to be distributed to the both classes. No? So, kung 135,000 pesos ang dineclare na dividends sa yung first round ng paghatian nila based on the 6% amount. And for ordinary, syempre, 50,000 shares times 10 pesos, we arrive with the peso amount of 500,000 pesos. Times 6%, may first round na natanggap si ordinary shares na dividends, 30,000 pesos. No? So magkano pa ang paghatian nila? So this is the remaining balance na usapan. This one, the 135,000 pesos total dividends declared and to be distributed, minus yung ordinary shares na first round, makakatanggap siya ng 30,000, minus syempre yung kay preference. Saan ang galing ito? The 25,000 preference shares times 10 pesos times 6%. So 250,000 pesos times 6%. Initially, 15,000. May 1 year in arrears. So may previous year na hindi nabayaran plus the current year, 2 years ang hindi nabayaran sa preference. So 2 years yun, 30,000 pesos. So 135K minus 30 from ordinary 30,000 na natanggap ni ordinary shares minus 30,000 din na para sa preference shares. May remaining na paghatian pa silang 75,000 pesos. Di ba? Ano yung ginawa natin kanina? The said remaining balance of the dividends will serve as the numerator divided by the total peso amount of the ordinary plus preference shares. 500,000 yung kay ordinary, 250,000 yung kay preference kasi. Times, of course, percentage, we will arrive with the 10% participating kasi. So second round, si ordinary, 500,000 pesos ordinary share capital times 10%, yun ang huling natanggap niya. It's from the participating preference shares. So 50,000 pesos. In total, the 30,000 initial plus the 50,000 pesos, letter C, 80,000 pesos ang total na natanggap ni ordinary shares. Ano? Letter C. Okay, 36. So, participating preference shares. Next, 37. 37, Man Company has outstanding 50,000 shares of 8% preference shares with a 10 peso par value and 125,000 shares of 3 peso par value ordinary shares. Dividends have been paid every year except last year and the current year. Okay, so may dalawang taon. If the preference shares are cumulative and non-participating, okay, and 250,000 pesos is distributed, magkano ang natanggap ni ordinary shares? Siyempre, medyo maikli lang ang solution at problema natin pag non-participating siya, di ba? Ang hinahanap na lang natin is sa cumulative side. So our solution, if the total shares or dividends to be distributed is 250,000 pesos, syempre preference muna mauna. The total preference share capital is 50,000 shares times 10 pesos par value eh. So 500,000 pesos times 8%, bakit may times 2 dyan? Kasi may in arrears last year plus current year, no? That's why it's 2 years. So magkano lahat yun? Yun ang unang natanggap ni preference. 500,000 times 8%, yearly 40,000. 2 years yun, so 80,000 times 2, 80,000. So, 250,000 minus 80,000 na tanggap ni preference ang naiwan para kay ordinary. Sa kanya na lahat? Yes, kasi non-participating na si preference. Answer? Letter B, 170,000 pesos. Okay, so this is a case in number 37 na non-participating. Parang naka-encounter na rin tayo ng ganito kahapon pag non-participating siya. Okay, I'll go back to the share. Next, tingnan natin kasi yung next problem, ayan, involved na yung last questions na sasagutan natin today. Let's read what happened in the next problem. Mukhang next part ulit ito, which is earnings per share, right? So we have here a very long problem because the rest of the problem will be yours to answer. Let's read what happened on an entity reported the following information on January 1, 2017. Ordinary share capital, 8 million pesos. Preference shares, 2.5 million. We have bonds payable, 5 million pesos. The preference share capital is 10% cumulative and convertible. Okay. Into 100,000 ordinary shares. Dividends on preference shares are in arrears for 2 years. So mukhang 2 years plus current year, no? The 12% bonds are convertible into 80 ordinary shares for each 1,000 bond. So may dalawa, no? Dalawang financial instruments na pwedeng maging ordinary shares. An exercise share options to purchase 90,000 ordinary shares at 20 pesos per share were outstanding at the beginning and ending of 2017. The average market price of ordinary share 30 pesos, market price December 31 40 pesos. And the following are the share-related transactions. May 1, may in-issue daw, additional 60,000 shares, ordinary, 25 pesos per share. July 1, nag-purchase ng 100,000 ordinary shares at 15 pesos per share. So malamang related to treasury na yan. October 1, nag-convert ng bonds. Face amount is 2 million pesos and my net income na 5 million pesos. We introduce another important financial ratio in shareholders' equity. Number 38 question. What is the amount of basic earnings per share? Yan. So this is the last important financial ratio related to shareholders equity, no? Related also to ordinary shares. Gaya ng mga nauna kanina, pag walang sinabi, ang kinokomputan natin ng earnings per share ay yung sa ordinary shareholders. No? So, basic earnings per share, malamang net income, with net income available to ordinary shares divided by issued and outstanding shares or sa case na ito, average issued and outstanding shares. No? Kailan tayo nag-average? Pag may mga relevant or related transactions or activities na available for the set information, we can use average. Pero minsan, pag walang mga ganyan, the total issued and outstanding shares. Okay? So mag-average muna tayo. Siyempre, yung typical gaya ng partnership, gaya sa partnership accounting, di ba? The typical average capital balance sana ng pag-compute. Dito, we have initial ordinary share amount, 800,000 shares kasi. Shares ang pinakompute natin sa average. No? So, 800,000 shares kasi siya noong January 1 times, ano yung fraction? The months outstanding, di ba? Naalala niyo ba? Months outstanding. Very partnership partners, average partners capital computation, di ba? January 1 to December 31. That's the months outstanding, which is 12 months out of 12 months. Kaya, 800,000 shares pa rin. The next transaction is nag-issue ng 60,000 ordinary shares, so nadagdagan. Ano? May 1 to December 31, 8 months. Kaya 8 over 12 ang fraction niya. In computing the average, you arrive with 40,000 shares. July 1, you purchase 100,000 ordinary shares, ibig sabihin treasury, kaya nakabawas. 100,000 ordinary shares times months outstanding kasi mula July 1 hanggang December 31 ay 6 months. Finally, we have converted bonds, naging ordinary shares siya. So, for the converted bonds, October 1 yun, uh, may sinabi kasi rito eh. And, and saan ba yun? Ayun, no? The 12% bonds are convertible into 80 ordinary shares, sabi niya. Each bond for each 1,000 peso bond. So, the converted bonds is 2,000 pesos. 1,000 peso bond siya. 2,000 pesos divided by 1,000 pesos, 2,000 bonds. Yung kinonvert natin. 80 shares siya converted. So, 2,000 bonds times 80 shares times 3 months out of 12 months kasi October 1 yung transaction. Ang months outstanding mula October 1 hanggang December 31 ay 3 months out of 12 months. So, nadagdagan ulit 40,000 shares. Lumabas yung denominator. The total average issued and outstanding shares. Ano? 830,000 shares. To compute, for the basic earnings per share, total net income available to the ordinary shares numerator divided by the average shares. So, net income based on the problem is given 5 million pesos here. So, ito yung net income minus the, syempre, unang mabibigyan si preference, yung preference share dividends. No? The preference dividends, 1 year lang ang usapan. Ayan, no? Remember sa earnings per share computation. Kahit may cumulative balance yan, for earnings per share computation, the typical 1 year lang na usapan for the preference. Dito kasi cumulative siya eh, no? 1 year, 2.5 million pesos na preference shares times 10% na rate niya, malamang 250,000 pesos yung kay preference. Ibawas natin sa total net income. The net income available to ordinary shares is 4,750,000 pesos. So, we can compute now the basic earnings per share. Ano, hindi siya naka-percentage. Earnings per share is like book value per share. So, 4,750,000 pesos. That is the one available for ordinary shares, no? We computed it a while ago, this one. Divided by the average shares, which is 830,000 shares, we will answer letter C, 5.72 earnings per share. Ayan, meron na kayong guide or basis sa mga hindi pa nakatapos ng assignment for the next 10 questions, no? Basic earnings per share. Now, ano yung tinatanong sa number 39 and 40 onwards? How are we gonna answer such? Kasi may expanded version kasi, yan, 39 siya 40, our last problem. Okay? Earnings per share, basic. Pag walang sinabi, it's a basic earnings per share. Net income available to ordinary divided by average issued and outstanding ordinary shares. Diba? Lalabas yung basic earnings per share. Now, what is diluted earnings per share? Kasi we're heading to number 40. Ang tinatanong na ay diluted earnings per share. No? When it comes to equity instruments discussion, when we say diluted earnings per share, it means that we already assume all the items or the activities that can affect the ordinary shares. Diluted. Dilution, di ba? Mga delusions natin, diluted. The what if, no? The answer there is what ifs. The what ifs na ma-convert na silang lahat, ma-issue na sila lahat as ordinary shares, diluted earnings per share. Meaning, we already assumed na lahat ay kinonvert na, lahat na ay nailipat na sa ordinary shares. Kasi nga earnings per share, ang kinocompute na lang natin dyan initially is for ordinary shares, diba? Pag sinabi natin diluted earnings per share, we already assumed everything. Lahat ng related transactions or activities na that can affect ordinary shares, i-assume na natin na mangyayari na siya. Well, in our case, may dalawang potential activities or transactions na under diluted earnings per share that can affect ordinary shares, no? Kasi yung una, may preference shares na pwedeng ma-convert into ordinary. So, dilution-wise, maapektuhan ang ordinary shares. Kung mangyari man yun, no? In computing diluted earnings per share, i-assume na natin lahat ay mangyayari. So, kinonvert na yung preference. And the other one, yung bonds is convertible din to ordinary shares na compute na natin kanina. Paano mag-convert? So, it can affect the total issued and outstanding shares. Ano? However, syempre, pag maging ordinary shares na sila, makaka-apekto rin yun sa net income mamaya sa question 40. Ito pala yun, kanina binabanggit ko sa 39. However, kung naging diluted na sila, meaning nagawa na or nangyari na yung activities, ibig sabihin, anumang related na interest expense, dividends, mga ganyan, ay will affect as well the net income. Siyempre, mawawala na sila eh, di ba? Mawawala na sila sa preference, maging ordinary na sila, mawawala na sila sa interest expense kasi bonds sila dati, maging ordinary na sila. Yan. So, let's go back na to that's the explanation of diluted earnings per share items, no? I-assume na natin sa formula ng earnings per share yung effect ng mga activities na that can affect the earnings, the ordinary shares. So kung madadagdagan pa yung ordinary shares, madadagdagan yung sa dividends ng ordinary shares kasi dati preference sila, bond sila, ko-convert na natin. So, first question, number 39. What is the total number of potentially dilutive ordinary shares? Ano ibig sabihin yan? Pag na-encounter nyo yung ganyang question, paano daw kung lahat na ay ordinary shares na? Di ba kasi nga, may na-identify tayong dalawa kanina eh, na potentially makaka-apekto sa ordinary shares. So, what is the total number of potentially dilutive ordinary shares at the beginning? Ako, beginning of the year pala yung tinatanong dyan. So, maghanap na tayo ng meron pa pala, may pangatlo, share options. So, at the beginning, sabi niya rito, may unexercised share options to purchase. Naku, lahat ata ng dilutive activities meron sa problem na to. Kanina na-identify lang natin si preference, convertible, tsaka bonds convertible. Meron pa pala dito, share options. Oh, what is share options? The share option provides or gives the investor a right to purchase additional shares in the future at a lower amount or discounted price. Yun ang right or benefit sa kanila eh, no? So, kasama rin yun, no? Share options. So, sa solution, if you can see, the share options is part of the total shares available or potential ordinary shares. Kasi nga, malamang pag in-exercise nila yung share options, 90,000 ang madadagdag na ordinary shares. Kaya idadagdag rin natin siya sa solution. No? Next, a while ago, we saw that, next, treasury shares, 1.8 million divided by 30. Saan nanggaling yung sa 1.8 million divided by 30? Uh, saan nga ba? We have treasury shares here. Kasi a while ago, sabi niya rito, we purchase 100,000 ordinary shares at 15 pesos. So, if there are potential ordinary shares that are treasury shares, we will as well record such as part of the transaction. Details. The average market price of the ordinary shares was 30 pesos. So, pag tinignan natin yung total peso amount na share options, the 90,000 ordinary shares at times 20 pesos will arrive with 1.8 million pesos. Times the divided by the market share or market price per share 30 pesos, potentially merong treasury shares, no? Possible na mag-arise dyan, 60,000 treasury shares. So, the 1.8 million came from the total peso amount of the share options and divided by the market price of ordinary share at 30 pesos per share. Kaya lumabas yung 60,000 treasury shares. In short, in total, may potentially 30,000 shares, ordinary shares that came from share options. So, pag diluted nga, i-assume na natin lahat ng what ifs. I-apply na natin lahat ng potential what ifs na baka mangyari siya. So, sa share options together with the potential treasury shares niya. Ang lalabas lang, merong 30,000 possible additional ordinary shares that came from share options. Next, paano kung kinonvert na yung dalawa, itong preference at yung convertible bond? So, we will assume that as well. Sabi niya kasi kanina, convertible daw 200,000 to 100,000 ordinary shares, kaya nagdagdag tayo ng 100,000. Ordinary shares that can potentially came from preference pag kinonvert lahat. And the convertible bonds, sabi niya kasi convertible into 80 ordinary shares. Eh, ang face amount ng bonds is 5 million pesos. Each bond is 1,000 pesos. Kaya, pag kinonvert lahat yun, 5,000 bonds times 80 ordinary shares. Kaya, may madadagdag rin, no? 400,000 ordinary shares. We add it together, 30,000 shares that came from share options, from the 100,000 ordinary shares that came from converted preference shares, and 400,000 ordinary that came from the converted bonds. In total, we will answer the total number of potentially dilutive ordinary shares, letter A, 530,000 pesos. Parang i-assume mo kasi lahat ng potentially mag-arise from the ordinary shares. Kaya that's the so-called potentially dilutive ordinary shares. Letter A, 530,000 shares, which will be used, which can be helpful in computing as well the diluted earnings per share. What if the question now in number 40 is the diluted earnings per share? No? So diluted, i-adjust lang natin, i-expand lang natin yung basic earnings per share computation natin, no? From kanina. So, on your left screen is the information of the said questions, and the question in number 40 is the diluted earnings per share. So, paano hanapin ang diluted earnings per share? Ito, pinakita ko na lahat ng potential effect or nangyari for the said earnings per share. Siyempre, kanina, yung preference shares, pag kinonvert, 250,000 divided by 100,000, may lalabas na 2.5. The interest on bonds not converted, 252,000. Siyempre kasi pag hindi mo siya kinonvert, interest expense siya. Pero pag kinonvert mo siya, nawawala na siya sa interest expense. Ganun yung parang usapan doon, no? And babalik tayo sa information. Ang actual converted bonds lang is the 2 million pesos out of 5 million pesos. Kaya ito yung breakdown niya, no? We will arrive with the total interest expense na magagamit natin, 375,000 pesos. Anyway, if we can check here the table of the solution for diluted earnings per share. Una, syempre, ang starting point lagi, tatandaan natin, is of diluted earnings per share computation is basic earnings per share computation. Ito yung kanina di ba? So, basic earnings per share computation, ito a while ago, we computed 4,750,000 pesos available to the net income to be distributed available to the ordinary shares kasi yan kanina for 750 divided by 830,000 shares. Yun ang laging starting point sa basic earnings per share. Starting point ng diluted earnings per share computation. Ano? And then uh, together all the activities no that arises or that can happen. Una, yung share options. Yung share options, nakita natin kanina, uh, we have 30,000 di ba? Potentially additional ordinary shares kung nangyari yun. Siyempre, nadagdagan yung total shares natin or ordinary shares. Pero peso amount, wala. It's the same. So, updated balance ng diluted earnings per share is 4,750,000 pesos divided by 860,000 shares. Lalabas 5.52 muna. Pero syempre, sa diluted earnings per share, lahat na activities, we assume that it will happen, di ba? So, another thing that can happen is when the bonds will be converted. So, sa actual bonds converted, paano siya naging 378,000 pesos? The 378,000 pesos kasi affected the net income. Okay? Ito yung explanation kanina. Uh, Kasi pag the bonds not converted, the 3 million peso bonds, ang interest expense no related ay 252,000. And you can convert na interest on bonds is the 2 million pesos related na bonds, 126,000 pesos. You will arrive with the total interest expense nga ng bonds na 378,000 pesos. So, basically, ang ina-assume natin, yung 378,000 yung ginamit sa solution kasi what if na-convert lahat ng bonds? What if na-convert lahat ng bonds, no? Whereas in actual, ang sinabi lang dito kanina, the amount of bonds converted is 2 million eh. Pero dito, ina-assume na natin what if lahat na ng bonds was converted, no? Yun ang diluted earnings per share computation. Kaya, ang ginamit natin, yung 378 thousand pesos, the total interest expense. May effect siya sa numerator. Bakit? Siyempre, kung kinonvert mo lahat yun, hindi siya interest expense. Pag hindi interest expense, yung 378,000 pesos, madadagdagan yung net income natin sana. Lahat sana yon net income. So, i-add back natin, no? Yung kaninang 4,750,000 pesos plus add back the interest expense. Kasi pag na-convert lahat ng bonds, hindi siya interest expense. Kaya we add back the 378K total interest expense. Lalabas yung total diluted earnings per share net income amount, 5,128,000 pesos. Plus, i-add natin anumang convertible bonds available, 360,000 shares ang uh, madadagdag sa ordinary shares kung na-convert lahat ng bonds. No? 360,000 shares. Shares lahat yan. Kasi sabi niya for every 1,000 bonds, 80 pesos, 80 or 80 shares. If 5 million pesos yun na bonds, divided by 1,000 peso bonds, 5,000 bonds. Eh kung kinonvert mo lahat yun at uh, 80 ordinary shares, you have a total of 400,000 shares. Which is, we already saw a while ago, the 400,000 shares. So, it's 3/5. Tapos, meron pa dito yung sa preference shares. The preference shares is the convertible into 100,000 ordinary shares. So, sa preference kanina, nakita na natin, the ordinary shares in additional will be 100,000 ordinary shares additional, no? So, kung hindi na siya preference, babalik siya as part of the net income available to the ordinary shares. Magkano ba yung sa preference share o dividends kanina is 250,000? Saan natin na-encounter yun? This one, a while ago. The preference dividends yearly is 250,000 pesos. So, in computing the diluted earnings per share, the 250,000 pesos will be add back na naman dun sa net income na in total ngayon ay 5,128,000 pesos. Bakit natin ina-add back? Kasi kung kinonvert lahat ng preference shares ngayon, wala nang 250,000 pesos na para sa preference shares. Lahat yon para sa ordinary shares na, kaya ina-add back natin. This time, ang total na niya ay nasa 5,378,000 pesos. And of course, pag kinonvert lahat ng preference shares na yun, 100,000 shares, in total, we will arrive with 1,320,000 ordinary shares. So, lahat ng maximum, no, na ordinary shares na pwedeng mag-arise sa lahat ng possible transactions. 1,320,000 shares. That's why if we're gonna have it as a part of the solution, the total net income now, 5,378,000 pesos, divided by the total ordinary shares, 1,320,000 shares, we will arrive with the final diluted earnings per share of 4.07. No? So practically parang pag lahat ay reflect natin dun sa mga balances related to ordinary shares. So 5,378 divided by 5,378,000 pesos divided by 1,320,000 shares will arrive with around 4.07 as the diluted earnings per share, which is letter C, no? The diluted earnings per share. All right. Well, there you go, guys. Based on our timeline, our last problem is question number 40, no? For batch 5 people, ang assignment, kayo lang yung may assignment, no? That will be the attendance, for attendance reason or purposes, the participation that should be solved for participation purposes. Please check the Canvas account for CFAS. Doon ko siya na-upload kasi malamang doon lang yung access. Yun lang yung sa may access natin for the remaining assignments. Number 41 to 50 will be your activity or assignment. The answers, solution will be provided tomorrow once we can go back to our school na kung may pasok na kami tomorrow, no? 41 to 50. And of course, yung para sa, I hope nandito sila, mga uh, reissuance group. Of course, I'm going to have the attendance from the Google form